So as of 2025, the total AI automation industry and the total AI SaaS industry combined for $500 billion in terms of a total addressable market. But there's one industry that is quietly eating up the entire AI world, and that is the $4 trillion service industry that the best AI agencies in the world are tapping into to absolutely dominate in 2025. Now, an AI growth business or an AI service business basically just grabs all the repetitive tasks that a traditional service agency used to do, like the traditional marketing agencies, lead gen agencies, or recruiting agencies used to do in the past with real humans, but now we're replacing it with a winning productized service that is utilizing our AI agents instead, which is allowing us to scale at insanely high margins compared to what the traditional boring service agencies used to have offered. So what you're going to get in this video is the full service industry opportunity and how I'm taking advantage of this with my own AI service agency, CreatorOS. And I'm going to give you guys a bunch of other examples of different AI service agencies that are absolutely crushing it in their own verticals. Then we're going to break down exactly what is an AI growth service and how you can implement this for yourself based on your own skill set. And then we're going to get into the 3 different types of AI business models and how they all differ from each other. We're going to break down AI agencies, AI SaaS agencies, and then we're going to finish off breaking down the AI service opportunity. And then we're going to talk about how to exactly start your AI service. Now, before we move any further, guys, who am I? I've been in AI for the past 3 years. I built a bunch of different AI agencies, different agents, different automations, and I launched CreatorOS mid-June of 2025. And ever since then, my agency and my entire business overall has been absolutely skyrocketing. And it's been thanks to this service industry opportunity. So without further ado, guys, please hit this video with a like and subscribe. If you want to grab all of the blueprints and coaching materials that I have, then just join the No Code Academy. We also have a free version if you're interested in that. But let's get into this full breakdown now. A traditional AI agency is a team that delivers customized solutions to a specific business's need. Let's say we're talking about a doctor's office. Well, they're going to need to A, store a lot of data locally using local AI models, but B, they're probably going to need a set of operational agents that'll help them book appointments, make sure that people don't miss their scheduled appointments and all that fun stuff. And so that's typically what an AI agency used to be in terms of delivering automations to clients. These were customized solutions. And the problem with that is it's very hard to scale even with a big team because each member on your team would have to be doing an entire customized build out, which is going to take a lot of time. Now, the AI SaaS opportunity is obviously a massive opportunity in AI, and it's not going anywhere. This thing is expanding, and it's insane to think that just your average vibe coder can now build an entire full stack SaaS. And our team over at CreatorOS is also launching and scaling iOS apps inside of our agency. And so this is a massive opportunity. But the interesting thing about AI is that it's completely changing software as we know it. And so all 3 of these are actually kind of converging into one. And so let's now talk about the 3 main service industries that AI agencies are absolutely eating alive. So the entire service industry is $4 trillion, but a lot of that goes into like legal, into operations, into the services that I'm not going to talk about today. The services that we're going to talk about today in terms of AI service or AI growth is the $1 trillion digital marketing industry, the $1 trillion talent services or talent recruiting industry, and the $100 billion customer support or operations services industry. Now let's break down what an AI service agency is, and we're going to do this by comparing it to the traditional service agency business models. And then I'm going to give you guys some real world examples of some AI agencies that are doing their service operations, and I'm going to explain down the specific verticals that these different businesses are in. So first, guys, let's talk about the old agency business model. And so these businesses typically did marketing, outreach, or recruiting workflows, and they had 100% human interactions with these workflows. None of the workflows were automated, and that results in a very low profit margin. But what's even worse about the profit margin, guys, is that it's not scalable because each physical employee has to give 100% of their attention towards each client. And so they're potentially only able to onboard 1 to 3 clients per per account manager. And so the outcomes here are also going to be very basic because the human's time is absolutely taken up and we have to pay them a solid wage because of all of those hours that they're going to be logging. And so the revenue that you can generate off of a human employee in the old agency business model is somewhere around $100,000, which is still good, but it's not something that'll continue because no one is going to be hiring this business model anymore. So this is on the way down as well. Now let's talk about the AI service agency. So the AI service agency, guys, can start out with just one employee or literally like just yourself. Because what you're going to be doing is you're going to be grabbing the winning workflow in the old agency business models and you're going to be adding AI into it. You're going to be building a workflow that streamlines like 90% of the actual automation or of the actual service delivery. And so inside of an AI service agency, this workflow could be like content production. It could be copywriting. It could be sending out emails in bulk to cold leads. And all of these different tasks need some type of human interaction, which is where the human employee can come in with your agency. But the thing is, they're still only going to be using about 10% of the time that they would have had to use in the old agency business model, because what they're going to be doing is they're going to be applying their domain expertise to that workflow. So the first example I want to give here is my own service agency, CreatorOS. Now, CreatorOS specializes in creating, uploading, and scaling people's social brands across every social platform. So for us to achieve that, we need to build out AI workflows and an AI dashboard to actually let our users and let our clients connect their socials so that our human employee can scale them autonomously. And so since a lot of their time is actually just being utilized with the AI models, their margins actually go way up and their ability to onboard more clients per account manager goes up because the human employee actually has a lot more time. And so in this case, the same clients can go up from 1 to 3 to like 5 to 10 per human employee. And this means that that human employee could generate us something like $250,000 a year in bottom line revenue. And so the beautiful thing about the service agency model is that the outcomes are also going to be very constant. Because if we have the actual system built up, there's no real bottleneck that'll stop the outcome from actually succeeding. Versus in the old agency business model, since it's 100% human involvement, if the human is not able to, be present that day or present that week, or they're not feeling well or whatever the case may be, then the outcomes go from basic to non-existent. Whereas while the human has the agents running, the second option here with the service agency is consistently running. Now, once you start running your AI agency, this is where things get unbelievably exciting because you can then productize your AI growth services. And this is where my team has got into, but a bunch of other really talented AI agency teams have done the same type of productized growth services, but in their own niche. And the way that this works, guys, is you're still going to be using a human, but this human is going to be completely outsourced, meaning the moment that a sale is conducted with your AI agency for a growth service, you're going to be giving 100% of the workflow to the outsourced human and the AI models. And so all you have to do at the high level is just overview it like a account manager would. And in this way, we are able to literally scale for our agency. We're able to scale thousands of video posts across all of our operating system clients just because we have outsourced the entire process. Now, there's other agencies that do this in other verticals. So let's talk about Hoppy Copy. Hoppy Copy is a newsletter service agency that helps small entrepreneurs, small businesses build really high quality newsletters by activating their service. Cold IQ is another great example that does this with social messages and email messages. And if you wanted to turn this into a productized service, for example, then Instantly.ai is the best cold email system that you can learn how to automate and scale for any business. Now that we know what an AI service agency is and why it's so freaking lucrative, Let's move on. So in a nutshell, what a winning AI workflow is a system on N8N or Make.com or maybe even Cursor or something like that, that you know is going to produce consistent and reliable outcomes for the thing that you're trying to do. And so an example of this could be a VO3 engine that creates video content that is really, really good and converts on social media. Another one is an instant lead campaign that sends emails to the exact ICP and converts into leads and then converts into sales. And once you have the winning AI workflows, the beautiful thing and the reason why it's such a competitive advantage is that it's instantly service deliverable. Because all you have to do is just ignite this automation or ignite this workflow for this new client. And if you already know that it's working, then it's going to work the exact same way for them. And you guys have the entire tutorial of how to set up an operating system, but this is exactly how we do it as well on our end. We get our clients to connect all of their social platforms to the winning AI workflows. And then the instant service delivery just conducts because we have the editing team in the back end. We have all of their socials connected. We have all of their agents ready to go. And so that's why the winning AI workflows create instant service deliveries. And in that way, guys, we are able to iterate and improve upon this workflow for each client, which allows us to deliver world-class outcomes. And so with the world-class outcomes that you're going to be delivering after month one, let's say, you really just need to get these people in the door. And so your first price up front could be something, could literally even be free if you're starting out. But once you start converting or once your system starts working, this is why the service industry is so fucked, because our AI agencies are about to take over. And that's because this is going to create super high ticket retainers. It's going to create a very sticky client relationship, and it allows us as the agency owners to create dynamic pricing structures. We can charge people a percentage of their actual revenue. We could do a result-based pricing, or we could do an output-based pricing. And so the first point I want to talk about here, guys, is the reason why it's so sticky is because if we're delivering a result that increases the revenue for their business and they don't have to do anything, then it's an absolute no-brainer for them to continue working with us. And so once you get these people in the door for a month and then you deliver these results, they're obviously going to be more than happy to pay. And then the power dynamics actually shifts into your hands. And so for us, since our service agency does video content production and social media messaging management, we can create a percentage of client revenue or a result-based pricing or an output-based pricing. So let me break down each one. So in the percentage of client revenue, let's say this was an e-commerce brand. Well, if they shared with us what their revenue was before they started working with us, and then we show them how much they generated in revenue after the first month, that delta is basically negotiable because that is the revenue that we generated for them. And so we're able to play around with that if it benefits us. I would recommend doing the percentage of client revenue if the business that you're helping is a recurring revenue business. So if this was like a school community or a software startup or something along those lines, then a percentage of their revenue is a win-win because you are also incentivized to help them grow. Now, let's say you're not producing content, then it might be a little bit harder to track the client revenue. And so then you can move to the result-based pricing. And so an example of the result-based pricing I want to give you guys is the LinkedIn outreach agent you have on this channel as a full tutorial. And this LinkedIn outreach agent sends 100 messages every single day to new leads. And so if you do the math, 100 messages a day to new leads times 30 days equals 3,000 messages a month. And so just that one agent alone has a guaranteed result-based outcome, and we can convert that result-based outcome into our result-based pricing. Now, the last one is output-based pricing. So let's say you were just starting out, or let's say you have a system that is working so well that you don't even care to, do the percentage of client revenue or result-based pricing. You want to do just output-based, like you'll pay me $1,000 for every 1 million views I generate you, or you'll pay me $1,000 for every 10 booked calls I generate you. That is how the output-based pricing would work. And so now that I've explained the full value proposition behind an AI service agency, I need to give you guys this tip because this changed the game for me. When you decide what type of service agency you want to build, let's say it's content production or email or sending cold emails or something like that, the first thing you should do is build the system for yourself, because then you have a testimonial that you can show as an actual working system that is actually producing results. And so with our Creator OS system, I was uploading content at scale across multiple different pages to show people in sales calls how the system actually worked. If I didn't have that to show, it would be very, very hard for me to actually close sales. So that's something to keep in mind if you guys are starting out fresh. So in a nutshell, guys, the AI service agency competitive advantage allows us to provide an insane value proposition to our new prospects. But for us, we now have a very scalable business model because when this client is sold, the entire backend is actually fulfilled without us having to do much except for overseeing how things are going. So guys, let's talk about the ICP or the target market that you should be reaching out to for your AI service agencies. And I split them up kind of Wolf of Wall Street style. So we have the blue chips and we have the penny stocks. Now, traditionally, only blue chip type of businesses used to be able to afford service agencies like the marketing agencies or lead generation, because traditionally service agencies used to be very expensive, or at least just too expensive for small businesses. But now we can actually offer it to both blue chips and penny stocks. So the first one I want to talk about, guys, is the blue chips. And these type of businesses are mid to large business market caps, and our client relation to them is just B2B. And so we could be working with them in a bunch of different ways. And one of the ways that goes very overlooked is AI consulting. Because even if we were to sell a blue chip on a productized service, that may help grow their business revenue. But if a company has like 10 employees, 20 employees, you can imagine how much more optimized we can make each employee as well, just by showing them all of the good AI workflows that they can use in their day-to-day work. And so there's two ways that we can actually sell the blue chips and the penny stocks. It's actually delivering the AI agency service and then also delivering AI consulting, which is something I'll talk about a little bit more in a future video. But basically, in a nutshell, guys, in the blue chip client roadmap, you need to just get them on a sales call, close a deal. I'm going to have marketing videos in the future of how we're going to grow your service agency. But once you close the deal, you want to determine what is the outcome, or what is the KPI, or what is the result that you have agreed upon with your client. An example of this for us is a 1,000 video deal. We say we're going to produce 1,000 videos and upload them on your behalf using your clone, your sound, your likeness, and then we're going to post it on your behalf across every platform, and we're going to do that for 2 months. And if we do good results, then we'll continue. If not, we move on. That is what we, in a nutshell, do in the closed deal step. Once that has been determined, I now understand what is needed to fully onboard them. So for us, we need to connect all of their socials. We need to connect potentially some AI agents, potentially even connect some Chrome extensions so we can have these agents do things autonomously. And then we just start automating the entire service delivery. And so if 2 months go by and they're satisfied, then we can have a lot of creativity with this price point in step 3 if we haven't closed a really good deal in step 1. But if all goes well, guys, honestly, you really just close the deal, you onboard them, and then you just deliver the services at scale. And so while your service is actually good, blue chips is actually pretty straightforward. The difficulty with the blue chips, though, is that it's going to be very competitive. You're going to be competing with me. You're going to be competing with the other companies that I was talking about previously as well. And so, yes, this is an opportunity. Yes, one blue chip client can make up for 20 penny stock clients, but in reality, it's going to be hard even if your product is really good. Now let's talk about penny stocks, because this is absolutely untapped and there's a really hidden opportunity here, which is the AI growth service opportunity. So let's say you guys see a penny stock. And when I say penny stock, I mean a small influencer that you see potential in. I mean a small e-commerce brand that you see a way to scale, a software company that you really believe in. These are the type of penny stocks that I'm talking about. And our client relationship is actually B2E, which is directly with the entrepreneur or the brand owner. And so this B2E type of relationship has a similar type of roadmap where we close the deal, we onboard them, and we deliver results. But our pricing structure can be very dynamic with these type of clients. Because if I were to relate us back to the world-class outcomes on the competitive advantages page, we can see that we can charge a percentage of client revenue. And so if we see a lot of potential in the penny stock, it's very beneficial for us to lock in that percentage of revenue deal even before we start working for them. On top of that, guys, this is also your fast track to deliver testimonials, because these people were never really able to afford true service agencies until AI changed the game. And so if you walk in the door, you say, hey, you're only making, 3-4K a month. I want to help you, but I need a percentage of revenue. Chances are they'll be actually interested. Let's talk about how to actually build an AI service agency. And so to build an AI service agency in a one-liner is finding one winning process and multiplying it by AI agents. And that is how you produce a productized AI service. But in terms of your actual roadmap and in terms of your actual skill development, step by step, this is what I think you need to do. So step one, guys, is just master these simple AI tools. So understand ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude. And once you get a decent understanding with how the prompt engineering works with these models, how you can extract the best type of data from these models through your prompts, then move on to step two. Now, step two and step three can also be replaced by a developer. So if you're in the position to hire a developer, I would actually recommend that, because AI is moving so fast. You want to get to market more than you want to do anything else. And so hiring a developer is always an option. But if you had to learn step two and step three, which is mastering AI workflows and mastering AI no code, you're looking at about 30 days of hard work to actually learn that. But I have a full Zero to Master course in AI development in the No Code Academy. So if you want to check that out, learn how to create very complex AI automations and then map those AI automations to an operating system, then I have all of that set up for you. So at least I can help you guys go from 0 to 1. But when we're talking about AI workflows, I'm really just talking about mastering the two core automation platforms. And so that's N8N and that's Make.com. And these platforms allow us to build AI agents that do very unique tasks. And we have a whole bunch of different tutorials on the channel breaking down how you can get started with that. And then no code development is basically when you have your agents built, the no code development is where the agents will then be mapped into and shown to our clients on the front end. Because since we're working with non-technical clients for the most part, we don't actually want to show them all of this complexity that's happening on the back end. We literally just want to deliver the results. And if you can do that without them seeing anything, they're actually going to be even happier. Now, once you master these two steps, we have another program that's going to teach you exactly how to create your productized AI service using the previous two skills that you have just developed. And once you guys do that, you can automate the productized service and go to market. And so in terms of automating a productized service, I can only talk about, how I did it from my end. And so for us, we have, video editors that need to automate the editing process. We have DM closers that respond back to leads that are very close to sales. And we have a couple other systems in place to allow us to automate the entire service, like letting our users connect all of their socials to our dashboard. And so once you figure all of this out, guys, then the go-to-market strategy is going to be pretty fun, because like we said earlier, you're already going to have the productized service working for yourself. And so you can already use that as the marketing vehicle to get your first couple of clients. So let's talk about how I am monetizing my AI growth service agency. So there's a couple unique ways that I'm going about this. I've built a bunch of different apps on the channel, and we're converting those apps to iOS apps. And so all of those iOS apps are going to use our growth service to grow. And so we have 3 different iOS apps that are now shipped to the App Store. And so that's one revenue stream that we're going to be generating that's coming straight from us just using the operating system ourselves. And then we have a bunch of clients in e-commerce, in brick and mortar, and in software that we're scaling as well. And so when these people hop on board, we basically break down what their goals are, how much money they're trying to generate with their businesses, and what their posting schedule is. And then we create our offer. And so if we're producing, 1,000 videos over the course of 3 months, we then determine what are the costs going to be for us. And then we find a good, pricing structure to approach our client with. But we're also coming into these sales calls with an idea in mind that we just need to show them results first before really monetizing. And so our first deal up front is actually pretty low ticket. It's something like $1,000 up front until we start delivering results, because then it becomes much easier to go from 1,000 to 5,000 a month to 10,000 a month, because then they'll start seeing all of those results, and then it's just an absolute no-brainer. And so that's how I'm monetizing it. But there's also another way that we're selling this, because traditional marketing agencies, if they don't implement AI, they're absolutely screwed. And so giving them my AI growth service as a code base will actually help them, because then they can just use the exact same AI growth service that I'm doing for their already existing marketing agency. And so with those type of clients, I can just sell the entire code base, and I can sell the consulting to teach them how to use the system effectively. And so in that way, I can do a really high ticket upfront plus a retainer of consulting. And so there's just a gajillion ways that you can go about monetizing an AI growth service. And it's really about picking a specific vertical, because even though there's a bunch of opportunity out there, I still just picked digital marketing, which is a $1 trillion opportunity. And so I don't need to look at all the different shiny objects and all the different things that could distract me from this, because I understand that $1 trillion is more than enough for me to take a small slice of. So my AI growth service is in the video production mainly, but I want to break down some other service ideas that you guys can definitely tap into. So the first one I want to talk about is email in general, because I actually have a developer on my team that does the email side of our growth services. And what he's able to do is produce 3,000 cold emails a day for any business. And he does this by spinning up multiple domains at the same time and then running a very customized messaging sequence so that each email is completely personalized. I didn't have the time to wrap my mind around that. And so he dove into that, and he's monetizing like crazy off of this. But there's also other services like Cold IQ that you can draw inspiration from that are already doing this. And that is very similar to SMS. So, building a WhatsApp agent, Discord agent, Telegram agent, and running that all for a business, that could also be very beneficial, especially for the type of businesses that conduct a lot of their, communication to their clients using SMS, because they should, in that case, already be sitting on a bunch of emails, a bunch of phone numbers that we can put into this engine. Another one's just simple inbound and outbound. So replacing like an entire receptionist at a school, at a doctor's office, at a dental office, and then imagine doing that for 50 dental offices, right? So if you had a client that ran multiple offices and they're paying $50,000 a year to each secretary in these offices, then we can do the quick math on that. 50,000 times 50 offices, you're looking something like $2.5 million in margin that you can bring back to their business. And so even if you take, 10% of that, you're looking at a $250,000 deal there. So that, in a nutshell, guys, is how to build your own AI growth service agency. And that's exactly how I'm using CreatorOS to scale in terms of our AI growth agency. And so if you want to build your own, definitely head into the No Code Academy. We have the full blueprint for you to fork and get started ASAP. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one.